and click on the vault.
What is love? Oh, baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
All right, welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA. By the way, big hello to our men and women in uniform around the world listening on American Forces. So glad to be speaking with you. And if you're tuned into one of our wonderful affiliate stations, and there are more and more of them every week around the country, be sure to make me a regular part of your week. I'm with you at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. So let's get to it, because I've been reading some things recently in light of the 2022 World Cup scheduled to be held in Qatar, however you want to pronounce it, in 2022. And, of course, the discussions about whether it's going to be held in the summer or in the winter, we're going to switch it over, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not even going to touch on any of that today. There's a couple of news stories that have jumped out to me today, and I'm going to just read you one of them. Now, this is not happening in Qatar. This is happening in Dubai. Now, Dubai is one of the United Arab Emirates, and I want to make absolutely clear, Dubai and Qatar are completely separate countries, but they share a common legal system. And the story that I'm about to tell you has happened actually in Qatar as well. But this just happened recently. Today, actually, the final part of the story was in place. A Norwegian woman who was working in Dubai was raped by a co-worker. She got herself together. She went to the hospital. And then she called the police. She, in turn, was arrested, charged with sex outside of marriage and a range of alcohol crimes. And she was sentenced, I believe it was, to 16 months in prison. Now, the Norwegian government, obviously quite rightly, is up in arms about this. They put pressure on Dubai, and a gentleman by the name of the Dubai ruler, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, pardoned her. And so she gets to walk free. The gentleman that raped her, of course, because he pardoned her, it expunges the crime off their books. He gets to walk free. I just wonder why a pardon was even needed. What is she being pardoned for? Is she being pardoned because she's the victim of a crime? Now, Nick, this is a soccer show on a sports network. Why on earth do you bring this up? I'm going to tell you exactly why I bring this up. I bring this up because in 2022, the World Cup will be held in Qatar. A country with very similar rules on the books, a country where being homosexual is illegal, where drinking is illegal most of the time, but certainly for Qataris. A country where if you are raped, you will be thrown in jail because for a sex crime, for having sex outside of marriage. Now, by the way, I want to point out, the World Cup will be held in Russia in 2018, and Russia have just passed a range of laws outlawing homosexuality. The Duma's lower council has passed this law. It's going up to the upper council. It's expected to be signed and passed along, where it is believed that the President Putin will sign it. By the way, I want to point out the 2014 Winter Olympics are in Russia as well, which means 2014, 2018, and 2022, the world's three biggest sporting events are going to be held in countries where being homosexual is illegal. I mean, that's problematic enough. But when I mentioned at the top of the hour when I started the show, that I'm a student of history, I then read an article that FIFA is putting pressure on these countries to suspend these most onerous laws during the term of their events, so that you can be a homosexual during the World Cup in Qatar or in Russia. You can have a drink on the street. I assume if you rape someone, you might actually go to jail. Only during the World Cup, though. Afterwards, hey, all bets are off, right? And it brought me back to thinking about the 1936 Summer Olympic Games, where the world turned a blind eye to Adolf Hitler and his racial policies. The fact that the Germans did not want to allow Jewish or black athletes there. And allow me to rephrase that, the Nazis. And by the way, I want to make it clear, I'm not painting a wide brush over the population of Qatar or Dubai or Russia. This is really just leadership and laws. But the people, the government of Germany, in 1936, took down the No Jews Allowed signs. Took down the whites only signs, Aryans only signs. Ignored the fact that the official Nazi party paper, the Volkischer Beobachter, wrote in the, quote, strongest terms that Jews and black people should not be allowed to participate in the Olympic Games. And the world turned a blind eye, and you know what? We know how that came out, right? We all remember Jesse Owens. What a great story. But what really was the story there? What, that a black athlete could actually beat white athletes? Shocking! Unbelievable. This is history. 1936, which my kids might not realize, actually was before I was born. We're going to repeat this same mistake starting in 2014. And we're going to repeat it again in 2018. And we're going to repeat it again in 2022. We're going to do nothing about it. We're going to paper over it. FIFA are going to bring their power to bear by having them relax the laws during the time of the World Cup. Just like the Olympic Committee did, brought the power to bear, just like the Nazis in 1936 decided, maybe this isn't the best PR. Show us rounding up Jews. Oh, by the way, while we're cleaning up the town, Berlin, we're also going to take all the gypsies and we're going to move them to concentration camps, because that's what they did with them in 1936. We are not learning our lesson, people. We are about to make the same mistake, not once, not twice, but thrice. And we're worried about whether the World Cup's going to be held in the winter or in the summer. And what we should really be worried about is, what are the values that we are condoning by agreeing to hold the World Cup in these repressive environments? If you listen to Sepp Blatter, he's going to tell you, well, football should not be about politics. Well, you know what? It should be about equal rights. It should be about equal rights for all. It should be about humanity. It should be about sporting behavior. Well, you know what? When you take your kids out, and I've got a great story about this, maybe I'll have time to get to it a little later today. When you take your kids out, what's one of the first things you teach them? Sporting behavior, right? No, it's not fair to hit him in the face because he scored a goal. No, it's not fair to stomp your feet and scream and have a cadenza because you lost. Sporting behavior. That should be what this is about. Humanity, equal rights, justice, sporting behavior. Putting on the best show the humanity has to offer. Not just saying, oh, you paid us a whole bunch of money, so we're going to come put on this big show in your place and we're going to paper over the cracks. That, to me, is the rankest, most awful form of hypocrisy I can imagine. And it is just truly indicative of the evil people we have running these organizations, that we would even consider having these events in these places with these laws on the books. Look, when South Africa had the horror of apartheid, we, the world, decided we are not going to have our cultural events in your country because we don't believe that we want to condone what you do. Where's the outrage, people? Where is the outrage? I can tell you, it starts right here at World Soccer Radio. Every weeknight, 9 p.m. I'm outraged about something, but really, this one's just awful. When we come back, ESPN's very own Max Bretos will be joining me here on the air. Don't go anywhere. We haven't had Maxie on yet, so we'll have him on now for a first. I'll be right back.